So, part of this reflection and moving on to your next point, Kev, um, you speak about prayer and praying and making your own words up rather than saying set prayers, I guess. Um, First of all, how does prayer help you in this situation? I'm interested in.
Me before anybody else.
Yeah, because these are things that have helped you that you hope will help other people. So I think it's important, first off, that we learn how it helped you in the past and helped you at the moment.
Well, good point. The main thing is don't lose sight of hope. Like I said before, and rekindling hope is to pray. And remember from what stables you're from. All the top horses come from top stables, and other people come from other stables and different stables. And my stable was I was brought up at the church, and it's been as hard to live a life of prayer and church as it's been good, and it's been hard as well, because you don't learn when to turn that tap off about guilt that we spoke about earlier. You have to get to a certain stage. My personal stage is that you have to go through a certain amount of pain before you can become free. And you think, no, they've all had to go. The priests have had to go, the nuns have had to go, my parents have had to go, the teachers have had to go, the police have had to go, the government's had to go, they've all had to go. Now it's my turn. This is what I think. And I think that it's like the heat of the oven again, religion. You've got to use it to work for you. And now and again, you've got to give the church or the oven the benefit of the doubt. But do not let it torture you. And that's what happens. So prayer has helped me because I can't always put into words or thoughts what I'm feeling. So I close my brain down and I ask God to intercede, to help me, or God's mother, Our Lady, Mary, to help me to translate my feelings. Okay, why hasn't that worked before? Because I didn't believe it properly before, because I was drowning, and probably the main thing of the lot, right along prayer, and I put prayer as 90% the healing power, but I can't put too much emphasis on that, because that's worked for me, and I believe, and I never got 100% or 90% behind prayer. I never got behind that. I sort of took it as a bit of lip service, but I realise now, with full 50 years experience and pain and hassle, that putting your weight behind prayer is very important, and it actually relaxes you, renews your energy, and gets you ready for each day. So we can pray in the morning. It's nice last thing at night when you put your head on the pillow to have a few words with God. Now, what I've been a bit wary about is emphasising this too much, because some people have not had God in their life. They haven't been from that stables. I'm from that stables, and I go back to it to recharge my batteries and to get me strength. But I can't pontificate too much about it for anybody who is not from them stables. They haven't been brought up a religious life. They haven't thought of God much. They've read about him in the media that's been twisted or whatever. So I can say from my personal view, and a lot of people that I know, that it's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. And there's nothing to be scared of. I've got the wrong end of it and got a bit too guilty as I was growing up, and felt that I was never good enough to enjoy myself. And that's sometimes the pain and the torture of religion. There's a writer called Chris Christopherson, and he once wrote one of his songs, The Pilgrim, never knowing if believing is a blessing or a curse, or the going up was worth the coming down. What he means is that it's good and have the blessing of the church and God and prayer, but then never knowing if it was a blessing or a curse. The curse is not knowing when to turn that tap off of guilt, and are you doing enough for God and the church? That's the problem you've got. You need a degree of some sort to manage it properly, and it's something that we've never really taught properly. If anything, it was overemphasised on the guilt. So it might take a certain amount of common sense to work it out yourself, and I didn't have that. And some people might suffer from that, and some people might leak from the brain with depression because they haven't got a certain amount of common sense. They might be clever, they might be talented, but they might just miss that common sense. And I think I miss it now and again, or have missed it. And I think it's wrong to presume that some people miss common sense. I think what can happen is some people miss common sense at certain times, and a great example of that is a form of panic. When you're rushing too much, when you're busy, you lose keys, you forget to lock the door, you lock yourself out the car, you can't find the folder that was on the table a minute ago because you're rushing, you're panicking, and common sense goes out the window. The folder you were looking for, you left it by the door because you knew you wouldn't forget it then. The keys are in your pocket like they always were. Because you were rushing, you checked the wrong pocket, whatever. So common sense can go missing at times, and that can cause a few problems. But prayer, I would say for me now, and if that's pass it on to anybody, make friends with prayer. By far it will be your best friend and your armour against most situations. Not a lot of it is expected of you in this life. It's tough anyway. John Lennon got into a lot of trouble on one of his songs where he said, Christ, you know, it ain't easy. And people said, how dare you use the word Christ like that? But a lot of holy families years ago used to say Jesus, Mary and Joseph, and it'd just be a terminology. If anything, it was a recognition of the church. But some people saw it as a bit of blasphemy, and they did with Christ, you know, it ain't easy. But I that's what I think as well. I think Christ knows it's not easy, and not a lot is expected of you. So do what you've got to do, bit by bit, day by day, and don't let things get to you, and try and make prayer your best friend. If you don't know much about it and you're not from them stables, there's nothing to stop you looking it up and find out what it's about, and try and use it as your crutch, if you like, to help you with your depression, and also help the families that have to go through a loved one who's going through it.